So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Ranil Magsalay Jr., and I am a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, major in transportation student in University of Mindanao, and I will be the one who will be discussing to you about the importance of water transportation. So, this is just a completion for my subject, so please bear with me. So now, importance of water transportation. So before we proceed, let us first define what is water transportation in our own opinion. So you may be thinking about boats or anything that relates to water by transportation, and you are correct. So before we continue, let me share to you some pictures that you may be familiar of. This is the Titanic, the one who has been sunk. I don't know if the story is true. And then the biggest uh, aircraft carrier of US, and also this boat, I just put it here to emphasize uh, a boat carrying a boat. So all of this leads to one question: what do they have in common? So those three, what do they have in common? Aside from they are all ships, so they are all floating on water. No, they are all very explicit example of a mode of water transportation. So let us first define what is water transportation. So water transportation is the intentional movement of water over large distances. So meaning to say, if there is a load which will be dealt on a longer distances or even in a shorter distances with heavy loads, water transportation is very efficient. So it is the intentional. So if we auto transport, it is intentional. So intentional movement. And the other definition is shipping or transporting of goods and passengers by water. So the title is self-explanatory, guys. Water transportation meaning transport via water. So later on we will discuss furthermore about what is the importance of water transportation, its disadvantages. So now we have arrived to my main topic, which is what is really the importance of water transportation in our daily lives and is in today's world. So for me, there are three important fundamental importance of water transportation: importance in trading, importance in economy, and importance in history. So you may all wonder why history is put there. Uh, Later I will show you why history for me is included. So right now, first we will discuss about importance in trading. So importance in trading, 90% of all international trade is accomplished through maritime transportation. So meaning to say, a big portion of our international trade uh, comes from maritime or water transportation. And this is not new to us because even today, we see transporting of goods has a higher amount on water than its three modes, namely uh, air and land. So indeed, trading with water in water is much efficient and much reliable on in terms of bigger loads or heavier con uh, carrier. Now, another is help connect the world with different cultures. So this is not uh, debatable. All three modes of transportation, just I have said, they all connect the world together. But if we say that the water transportation has a big impact, or the big 90% of international trade, then water transportation has also the biggest uh, the biggest, shall we say, impact on the connection of the world through different cultures. For example, uh, cultures from China will be traveled to the US, and there is bigger and much larger loads compared to the to other modes. So this is what I think the importance of trading, the importance of water transportation in trading. So the next is in economy, importance in economy. As we all know, all transportation has their significant impact on the economy of a country. Like for the China now, we I may be exampling China because China is boosting its economy, and they are boosting it through water transportation. Example of the importance of in economy is it is cheaper than other mode of transport. So unlike air transportation, it is much uh, on top price than the water transportation, and also in land. The other is it generates a lot of employment opportunities. So in importance on economy is it generates a lot of employments. So as I've said anyhow, that the country will be cultures in a country and people on a country will travel to another country, and they will be employed, and they have more jobs, and and both countries will progress, just like the Philippines and the other countries. So there is a much bigger deal of water transportation in economy. And by the way, if we if we say that water transportation is bigger, so transportation contributes to the economy of a country. So this is what I know of. Lastly is history. So why do I include history in this importance? So lingid sa ating kaalaman, there is much importance in history than today, because in the past decades, water transportation is the main, or shall I say, one of the biggest mode of transportation, because it is the oldest and reliable mode of transportation. So we are not I am not astonished to say that it is the oldest, because it is the truth. Magellan crossed Magellan crossed from countries to countries because of water transportation. So any historical figures in the past have traveled through water transportation. That's why it is one of the important. And this importance of water transportation is it is eco-friendly in the past because of the usage of wind to move. So I don't think now, because today is using machinery, but in the past it is eco-friendly. Water transportation is eco-friendly. And discovery of new lands. So as I have said, historical figures like Magellan and other have discovered new lands through water transportation. And also, I include defense of a country. Why? Because as you can see to the picture, you can see the flag of, I think it's a British or something like that. I can say that the importance of water transportation is the defense, because as I've said, the British naval fleet in the past is uh, more powerful. So it is one of the importance of water transportation, the defense of a country. So by the way, 71%, I think 71% of our totals, 71% of Earth's surface is water. So might as well we use water transportation, because it also has 71% is big percentage of the surface. So we can use water transportation. So disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of water transportation? So one is, the biggest disadvantage of water transportation is low. It's lowest mode of transport. That's why it is much cheaper, because it is low, and because of the loads that it carries, or uh, the heavy loads that it carries, it is much lower. And by the way, it also floats. So anything that floats combined with heavy loads are slow. Also affected by strong weather condition at sea. So all three modes are affected by weather, but I think water transportation is much affected because it is floating on the water. And we all know that water, at, combined with storm, can be aggressive. So that is one advantage. And lastly is, it is inconvenient. So I personally experienced that. Uh, Indeed, water transportation is a convenient, but it is much efficient. Okay, so in conclusion, water transportation deals with moving cargoes by water. It is one of the oldest mode and can be reliable in terms of load capacity. 71% of our Earth's surface is covered by ocean, and practically speaking, water transportation is much cheaper than air transportation. So greatest disadvantage is its speed, one of the slowest modes. So I hope you all learn from my discussion. So this is where I end. So those are all the topics and the discussion of water transportation. So thank you. God bless.